Hey Valley Middle, welcome back to a G67 math video. Tonight we're going to be comparing positive and negative fractions. Let's start off with something fun though. Our trivia question of the day, we've been looking at this our entire life, and you know that there are 50 stars on the American flag, but can you tell me what the array looks like? In other words, what's the pattern of stars? Interesting. I thought I knew, and I was right, but I learned a lot. I'll share that with you when we're done. All right, officially tonight, I can compare positive, negative fractions and decimals with inequality symbols and on a number line. I'm going to throw integers in there too. There's just a whole lot of targets that involve this, and I think that most of the time they can be solved pretty simply if you follow a couple of steps I'm going to give you. So which symbol makes this inequality true? We got negative 0.4305 and we got negative 7/16. Yeah, yikes. Well, the first thing I do is I just change these guys into decimals. And so this one as a decimal is negative 43.05, just like it's written. And this one, when you convert 7 divided by 16, you're going to get 43.75, and then you add the negative thing, because the whole thing is negative, not just the numerator, the whole thing. So then I just take a simple number line, like the one I've got here, and I just place them on the number line. And this one here was a really tight example because they're so close. But if this is 4, and this is 5, negative 4 and negative 5, and this is negative 4.5, well, negative 43.75 is going to be over here, and negative 43 is going to be right before it. Again, they're very, 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 very close. Keep in mind, the closer you are to 0 in this negative section, the larger you are. Just in general, the farther to the right, the larger you are. So this one here is actually larger than this one. Negative 43.05 is greater than negative 7/16. We can look at it this way too. Negative 43.05 is greater than negative 43.75. It's less negative. Kind of like my first roommate versus my second one. The first one was less negative than the second. It's a whole other story. You'll figure it out in college. All right, let me try to help you with this. So let's just say that you're going to go buy a house. And this house here, you would have to borrow $150,000 to buy. And this one here, you'd have to borrow $300,000. Well, thus, your mortgage is the money you owe. That's a negative $150,000 for this bungalow, and for this beautiful two-story, it's a negative $300,000 because it's in the hole. That's how much money you were borrowing. So if you were to put these on a number line, you could look and see that negative $300,000 is way over here. Here's negative $150,000. It's still a big number, but it's closer to 0. It's farther to the right. So a negative $150,000 is greater than negative 300,000, but much smaller than anything on the other side of 0. Anything on the right of 0 is positive. This would be $100,000 in your bank. This would be $200,000 in your bank. So just keep in mind that it's just it's the 0 place. 0 is where we start the positive versus negative, but just in general, the farther you go to the left, your numbers are getting smaller. The farther you go to the right, the numbers are getting bigger. And you can compare them very easily if you think about that. I don't think you have to draw a fancy number line. I think you just need to put one down. I think that'll really help you. That's one of the targets tonight, is also putting them on number lines. So let's just get to the word of the day here. It's a negative number, and this is any number that falls to the left of 0. And I've said that a number of times in a number of videos, and it's worth repeating. And a positive number is anything to the right of 0 on the number line. So Danny D's tips for success here is, first of all, just make everything a decimal. There's going to be fractions, mixed numbers. Make everything into a decimal, and then place it on the number line. And the farther they are to the right, the larger they are. The farther they are to the left, the smaller they are. When you place them on the number line, they will fall in order from least to greatest. And then it's very easy to compare. Right? Right. Okay, let's just jump right in and do a problem here. Oh, first of all, there's a whole series of 7th grade targets here, comparing positive and negative decimals, comparing positive and negative fractions, integers, comparing them on a number line, comparing decimals on a number line. So what I did is I just took all these guys and I just mixed them all together. I'm giving them to you all at once. Keep in mind, make it a decimal, place it on a number line, everything's going to be much simpler. So I got two guided examples I'll take you through, and then I'll take you through a couple of pause problems. So which symbol or symbols make this inequality statement true? So you got negative 4/5, you got 0.001, and you've got negative 1 1/4. Just think for a minute. Okay, you have an idea which one's the largest? You should by now. Well, make them all decimals. That was the first step I said. So you got negative 0.8, you got 0.001, it's already a decimal, and you got negative 1.25. Okay, so place them on a number line. That's the next thing. So I scroll down here. So here's negative 1.25 here. It's, you know, I'm going to move that over just a touch. It's a little bit closer to 1 than it is 2. It's you know, like 1. It's a negative 1.25. It's a negative 1 1/4. Negative 0.8 would be right here, almost to negative 1. And then 0.001, I mean, it's just a thousandth above, or a thousandth greater than 0. But it's the largest. This one here is the largest. This one here is the smallest. This one's in between. So they're ordered from least to greatest. Least to greatest. Always least to greatest on the number line. So we can just throw our symbols in here. We know that, let's see, we have to look at negative 0.8 and 0.00. Well, we know that this one is smaller, so this guy is going to come here. So we got negative 0.8 is less than 0.001. And of course, this one here is greater than negative 1.25. This is positive, that's negative. And you know, you could put the symbols up here too if you want. Usually you have to go back and compare the actual original form. And so we want to make sure we can flip back and forth between those very fluently as well. All right, let's take a look at another example. Yep, just making sure I got the right one here. Which symbol or symbols make this inequality statement true? So we got negative 2 7/9 and negative 10.875. Okay, let's take a look. Well, first of all, step 1, make them all decimals. I did that for you. So we got negative 2.7 repeating, and then this one here was already decimal. We'll just leave that. This one is an integer we're throwing in this time. So let's place those guys on the number line. Scroll down here a little bit. Oh, ew. Well, it's pretty obvious that 2 is the biggest, right? And then this is negative 2.7, so it's going to fall here almost to negative 3. And negative 10.875 is kind of off the chart, but it's over here somewhere. So from least to greatest, smallest, second smallest, largest. Okay? So now we got to put these symbols in. This can be kind of tricky, but we know that this one is bigger because it's positive. So 2 is greater than negative 2 7/9. And negative 2 7/9, well, it's actually larger than this other negative number because it's less negative. So really, we only needed one inequality symbol work for both of them there. And again, we can pop them in down here. Again, negative 2 is less negative than negative 10. So negative 2 is actually greater than negative 10. It's closer to 0. It's closer to being positive. Okay, all right, time for you to try 2. Go ahead and pause the video and work through this one. Okie dokie. Here's what they are as decimals. And here's the way they go here. So I have to compare them. So let's see, we've got this one here is greater than negative 0.675 is greater than negative 4 7/10, and negative 4 7/10 is greater than negative 50.5. I'm going to read it backwards once. Negative 50.5 is less than, I can read that backwards too, is less than negative 4 7/10, which is less than, I'm reading it backwards, 0.675. Yeah, that makes sense. Largest to smallest. All right, sweet. Try this one. I think the directions are a little bit different. Okay, so order these from least to greatest. Go ahead and pause the video and give it a shot. All right, let's take a look. Make them all into decimals. I think I did that right, didn't I? Yes, I did. And then go ahead and put them on number line. And I just kind of drew a simple number line with this 0, negative 1, and negative 2. You can see here they fall from least to greatest. Isn't that what I wanted? From least to greatest, yeah. negative 1.3 repeating, which is negative 1/3, negative 1.25, and then negative 1.2 in the largest. The number that is the least negative is negative 1.15. All right, I think you're ready for the ticket to the show. Here we go. Go ahead and order these from least to greatest. Put these bad boys on a number line. Slide that down a little bit. Order from least to greatest, and then put these 4 on 1, 2, 3. Put those 5 on a number line for me. It doesn't have to be fancy. Okay, the answer to the trivia question, kind of interesting. What does the array look like of stars, of the 50 stars? Well, there are a row of 6 and then a row of 5 and then a row of 6 and then a row of 5 and then 6 then 5 then 6 then 5 then 6. Oh, then 5 then 6. So we have 5 rows at 6 stars is 30, and we have, I'm going to change this around. We have 4 rows of, I know I can reverse that, but we have 4 rows of 5 stars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of 5. So there's your 50 stars. Interesting though, you can shut the video off now if you want to learn a little something. It's kind of cool. When you look at some of the other flags, like what did the 49 star flag look like? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, of course they would have 7 rows of 7 for the 49 one. Let's just take a look at the 48. Kind of cool. Got 8 rows of 6. Interesting, isn't it? Never really thought about this probably. Let's look at a bizarre 143. Yeah, you can see this. It doesn't look very symmetrical the way they have that on there, but it's kind of fun. And you know, the original. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the trivia question. Thanks a lot for listening. Have a great night. Thanks for watching.